This episode of the Polyhedron Collider Cast is sponsored by Kienda. Head to kienda.co.uk/Polyhedron Collider for 10% off your first order. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Polyhedron Collider Cast, episode 174. I'm Steve Tudor.
I'm Andy Lewis.
I'm Sid Gill.
And I'm Rory Summers.
Wow, the energy in this room is just falling. This is poor. Have you had rough days, boys?
We literally just said Andy was going to start talking about Tabletop Scotland. So I said my name, knowing that Andy was going to immediately start talking about Tabletop Scotland.
Andy was waiting for a pause and just, entering
Well, we all
flipping
paused, Lewis.
Mate, you could have driven a bus into that pause and parked it up.
I was choosing my moment, but no, some ginger gobshite decided to interrupt.
I'm now tempted to go back to the audio and put the sound of a reversing beeper into that gap.
All right, so go, Andy, go on. Let's cue up. And I'm Rory Summers. Have you done anything interesting recently, Andy?
No.
Have you been on any interesting motorways yet? Tell you what, actually, I was chatting to somebody.
Are you sure you want to go down that road?
I was taking Logan to kickboxing, and one of the guys listened to the podcast, and he came up to me and he was like, "How you doing, Rory? Been on any good motorways recently?" And I swear I wanted to punch him. Right? And I was like, "I'm in the right situation. I'm allowed to." Yeah.
Well, as
Couldn't
you
even
asked
escape
so nicely, I have been to Tabletop Scotland, which was very fun, as it always is, to be fair. I took a jaunt up the M6 at 2:00 in the morning and had a nice tea-bay breakfast on the way.
No, you were sending us photographs at godforsaken clock in the morning of this.
I know you know. I made damn sure you know. Last year it moved from Perth in the Dewars Centre, and they moved to the Highland Centre, which is just outside Edinburgh Airport. And when I say just outside, I mean pretty much next to the runway. 50 yards from the runway. It's really quite disconcerting. You're walking up to the entrance of the Highland Centre, and there's an EasyJet plane taxiing literally within a stone's throw of you, with this tiny little chain link fence separating you from possible death. It's interesting, let's just put it that way. But the venue itself, once you're inside, is actually really good. It looks and feels, it probably was at some point, an aircraft hangar. So it's got that kind of domed-ish roof, curved from sort of left to right, and it's got a tarmac floor, so it's clearly been used to house vehicles at some point.
What a weird venue.
I know. But it's pretty good. Dave lured me in with the promise of a bar, and he did not disappoint, I'm not going to lie. But it's considerably larger now than the Perth version of it. They were in the Dewars Centre was basically an old sort of sporting venue, so it had like an ice rink and a bowling alley, and they used both halls, whereas now they've just got this one big huge hall where they've got loads more exhibitors and tons of open play area. So it's more like, I'm going to say it's more like Aircon than Expo in terms of the sort of ratio to gaming space to exhibitors, but it's got a feel of its own. It doesn't really feel like either of them. And one thing that they're very proud of, which they've kept going, is the sense of openness and the accessibility of it all, because, Aircon can be a bit squished if it's full. Tabletop Scotland still got loads of room between each of the table rows, so you can still get in. It's fine for wheelchair users and all that sort of stuff. So you're not trying to sort of squeeze past someone as they're making the move, and you tilt her forward and you knock half the stuff on the table everywhere. It doesn't suffer that problem.
It's worse when you've been back from the bar, isn't it? When you're trying to hold a couple of pints and then do that crab walk down between the aisles.
That's it. And then you spill beer down someone's back and yeah, that's it. No, it doesn't have that, thankfully. So no, it's a good do. I did see Peachy and is it Louise from the name escapes me now. Rogue Hobbies, thank you. They were both there. I didn't say hello. I chickened out because they didn't really know me, and I wasn't wearing the the uniform, so I was just a chap in a waistcoat as far as they were concerned. But they were there. They were very, very. They were overrun basically with presumably adoring fans. But there were quite a few other people there. I got to speak to a couple of other broadcasters, Richard included, who is not a wizard. He said hello. He was there on the Sunday, so it's nice to see Richard. Always is. And I was party to an exclusive. Ooh. I know. It was released at Tabletop Scotland. It's a game called Leaders, not Founders, Leaders. It's essentially a kind of a sort of advanced version of chess more than anything else. It's only a 2-player game.
I've played this.
Have you?
Yes.
When?
I've played this at Expo.
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this the big pieces, the big kind of chonky pieces? With you got cards that go with the leaders. There's it's across the 2-player game, isn't it?
Yes, it is a two-player game, hexagonal board with hexes on it.
Yeah.
And you basically get your wooden base and a standee basically slots into it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they had it at Expo. Yeah,
played it at Expo.
Yeah,
as a demo, presumably.
Yeah. It's got like black and white.
That's the one.
On either side of the pieces or something like that, if I remember
exactly
right.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, gents, I've not heard of this before, so why don't you tell us something about this game? Because you were saying this has come out on our little chat, and I was like, I've never heard of this game.
No, neither had I.
Obviously, I missed it at Expo. Yeah.
Yes. No, it was released at Tabletop Scotland, so it's an exclusive, and it is solely a 2-player game. It's basically like sort of hexagon chess, where you have a leader. So one of your characters is a leader. The idea is you've got standee with a black side and a white side. The white side faces your opponent. The black side faces you. So you always know whose pieces are whose. And the idea is throughout the first few turns of the game, you recruit allies, essentially. Pieces, yeah. A team, and each member of the team has a specific power. So like a knight can move in, like an L shape in chess, and a bishop can move diagonally. Each of these separate pieces can do something special. Like one of the pieces I had could only move could move anywhere on the board, but it couldn't go next to an enemy piece. Or there's one person that could move twice and it had to sort of jump over people, like in drafts, for example. Or there's another one that could shoot in straight lines and move itself directly towards an opponent. So each of these powers you have to sort of negotiate around the board. And the object of the exercise really is to trap the enemy leader. So you've got to get 2 pieces either side of one of the leaders, or you have to trap them so that the enemy leader cannot move. So it could be trapped by its own pieces in that sense. So as long as you just get in the way and stop it going anywhere, that's it. And of course, you've got to do all of this whilst not being trapped yourself. So it's really quite simple, but it's very clever. And of course, each of the little characters that you can pick up, each one of them is different. And there's about 15 of them. But you only recruit about 5 onto your team. So there's plenty of scope for lots of variation over the games that you play. It's extremely beautiful, and it was the princely sum of £22.
I think this is a absolute shitload of game for 20 quid.
I agree.
It's proper hard. If you in terms of when you're playing somebody good, it feels like you're being mullered by somebody that's good at chess. It is strategic. It is challenging. You can knacker yourself if you're not careful. Through, like Andy says, you lose the game by simply making your king not be able to move. And that can happen because when you have a card, you must do everything on the card. There's no halfway houses. So if that piece moves too, it moves too. Doesn't matter whether that then screws you or not. It's really good.
Yeah, keeping track of all 5 of those things in concert is actually quite difficult.
It's really hard.
Can I ask a question? So when you activate a unit, an ally, or whatever we're calling it, you choose which one's going to activate, or do they have to go in the order in some sort of kind of
You can choose
sequence?
in whichever order they want.
Okay.
You basically take turns in activating a piece.
So I activate a piece, I can activate any piece, but when I activate it, I have to activate it in full. Okay, cool.
Correct. Yes, and that's it. It's really that simple. The board's it's a hexagon shape with a bunch of hexagon pieces in it. I think it's about six hexes on each side. I think it is. It's something like that. So it's not a massive board, but it's big enough, but it's compressed enough as well that you don't have a huge amount of room to manoeuvre. So you've really got to think about what's going on. As I say, it's really pretty, and the box has a little sort of slide-out drawer that you put all the pieces in, so it looks really fancy when you put it together. It is literally in the box. There's I think 1 or 2 punch boards, 12 discs, little wooden discs with a slot in the middle to put the little standees in, and there's the gaming board, and there's a deck of cards, and that's it. So there's not a huge amount of game, but for £22, it's an absolute bargain. It really, really is.
This sounds... Really,
it's also on Board Game Arena. It's a premium game on Board Game Arena, but it's available to play.
I can believe that. And it felt, I think it's whenever, I mean, Dave, the organiser Dave, took me to this stand to speak with the vendor, whose name I forget now. It'll come back to me later on, I'm sure. He said, he picked up this box and said, how much do you think this would be worth? And I looked at it and said, at least, it must be, I don't know, 30 quid, maybe 35 quid. And a lot of people said, it's like, it looks like a 40 quid game. But it's, £22. I was like, right, sold, done, I'm having that. That is definitely punt territory. And the feeling around the room was that it was basically sort of game of the show, really, the amount of buzz it was creating. So yeah, really, really worth looking at. I say for £22, you can't really go wrong.
Well, it's another Hachette game, isn't it?
Studio H.
Yeah.
Studio H, yes. So yes, it's under their little banner.
Distributed by Hachette.
By Hachette.
That's why I played it. I played it with Flav.
Yes, he was there. He was at Tabletop Scotland. He had his Iron Brew kilt on, hilariously.
Good lad. Good
bright
lad.
Orange. Skinny little white legs sticking out of a bright orange kilt.
His boy's a legend.
Always a pleasure to see. But yeah, he recommended it to me as well. He even said that Hugo, the designer of Leaders, was actually at the show. So I did see him, but I never actually got the chance to go over to get my copy signed because a lot of people were doing that. But unfortunately, I missed out the opportunity there. But never mind. But also...
Can I ask a question about Leaders?
Of course you can.
Before we move on. It sounds a lot like Hive. Have you played Hive?
I have played Hive, and I kind of know what you mean.
So I've got, in Hive, you've got 2 queens, your queen bee, and then you've got all of your pieces that have very specific movement styles, and you move them in turn, and you're trying to lock down your opponent's queen to stop your opponent's queen essentially surround it.
Yes.
So in that, the type of movements you were talking about for your recruits are the same as the other insects and
yes, I think it's not dissimilar. With Hive, you've got a lot more freedom where you put stuff, though, because obviously you're not limited by a board, whereas in this you are. That's the major difference, I think.
Not really, because you just don't have a board. There's no physical construct of the board.
Well, that's what I mean. You can go in any direction in Hive, whereas in this you are locked into a board. But other than that, yes, I think mechanically it's very similar, or yes. Like in a Hive, you can spread out almost linearly if you wanted to, if the game permitted it and you had the right pieces to do so.
I think you wouldn't, though.
Probably not.
No, but I see that you've got a defined area, but when you play Hive, you normally just concentrate and you're just working in essentially a spiral grid. It's just obviously you're off center. Your center is wherever you want the center to be.
Yes.
Whereas a centered board has a very definitive middle. But okay, I'm just curious because it does sound good. It does sound like the type of game I'd like, but I'm wondering whether there's worthwhile me having it if I've got and I enjoy Hive. So I shall give it a go.
Rory,
Board Game Arena.
Invite me to a game on BGA and we'll give it a test drive.
As soon as I finish work, I will do, yeah.
Yes. But it's very straightforward, very fun, and I think definitely worth the money. So if it is only a 2-player though, just like Hive. So yes, you can't. It's not sort of multiplayer, and you couldn't really feasibly stick multiple copies together to have a 4-player. Anything like that, it wouldn't really work. Well, maybe. But
no,
anyway.
it's good at what it. Just leave it alone. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Spend 20 quid and enjoy it. It's worth it.
Pretty much. Now, another game that has a lot of buzz that you lot, and I say you lot, Rory and Steve talked about a couple of weeks ago. In fact, our last
Ginger
podcast.
contingent, as we're not commonly known.
Ginger contingent.
The minorities.
The Daywalkers, yes. Was Fate of the Fellowship. So obviously the Lord of the Rings is the latest kind of sort of pandemic-y incarnation from Mr. Leacock. And it was making a bit of a buzz at TTS as well. And I played it and bagged myself a copy because I enjoyed it.
That's always a ringing endorsement, isn't it? When you've played it and then immediately go buy it.
Yeah, exactly. It was really good. It's a nice twist on the pandemic formula, I think. It's different enough to justify its existence from that point of view. Although, coming down to the price of games, like Leaders looked like a 30 or 40 quid game, even though it wasn't. The problem is, I also think Fate of the Fellowship looks like a 30 or 40 quid game. But it's £65, which I feel is a tad expensive for what it is.
So I think, because we've kind of discussed this like via chat, haven't we? I think there has been purposely efforts made to increase the, maybe not the value, but the perceived cost of this game.
Yes.
Simple things like the orcs and the soldiers are all little tiny meeples, and then they are tiny meeples to the point where, I mean, I think the first time we played, Rory, being as anal retentive as he is, wanted to make sure they're all standing upright. So every time we placed them down, three rounds into the game, he couldn't be bothered. We were just throwing them on the board, and at which point they might as well have just been cubes. They didn't need to be these beautifully carved things. And then you've got the dice tower, the Eye of Sauron dice tower, which looks amazing as it it towers over the board, and it, with the eye casting over. Absolutely no gameplay mechanics. It's just a dice tower. It doesn't do anything. It's not even like one of these things where you drop something in and it with baffles and it does. It's just a dice tower. And you do wonder, like, how much has that added to the cost of this game?
I think the dice tower in that game in the Fate of the Fellowship is only there to stop your dice rolling, going across the board and knocking everything over.
So possibly, yes.
Yeah, I think that's the purpose of it, is just to stop, because if the dice hit those tiny little wooden soldiers, they're flying. And the Nazgul, you'd ruin the game if a dice goes across the board, which sometimes happens when somebody plays games with dice.
Well, actually, no, let's get this straight, Rory. It's any component. What was it we were playing the other night? We were playing Earth, which we're going to get to later, and I can't remember what you picked up when you dropped it on your board, and all your leaves went everywhere, and you had to completely reset your board.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean, Fate of the Fellowship is good. It's nice. We enjoyed it. We even won. I mean, this is admittedly the introductory scenario, so it only gets harder from there. So when you're winning the game literally on the very last action that you could ever do, that's very squeaky bum. How close does that? I mean, the next time we play on something slightly harder, we're probably going to get owned, but never mind. It was good. I don't think it's worth 65 quid, but it's definitely worth playing. Because I just binned off the dice tower now. I'm not throwing it out. It's still in the box, because there's a nice little slot that goes in the box, weirdly. But I don't use it. There's no point. It just doesn't add anything to the game at all. And I agree. I think you could probably make a 30 quid version of this just by using little cubes and ditching off the dice tower, and it'd be exactly the same bloody game. So, yeah. But yeah, it was fun. I did enjoy it. And yes, I did play, as Steve has mentioned, Earth.
Yes. So, Mr. Summers, I know you're a big fan of this game, so why don't you describe this game to us?
Right, okay. So Earth from Inside Up Games is a big, fat tableau builder with an even bigger and even fatter deck of cards. So I instantly love it. Basically, this is right up Rory Summers Street.
We said that when we were playing it. Said Rory's going to love this.
So in Earth, you've got 4 different actions, and one of the actions is going to. So when I take my action, I get the primary version of it. Everyone else gets a secondary version of it, and ultimately, what you're trying to do is play cards into your tableau, which will be a 4x4 4x4 grid of cards, and you're building up your own little ecosystem, your own little, not, I wouldn't say Earth, but you're building up your own island, your own little land, and you're filling it with all of the flora, really, of that little land. So you've got a different climate, you've got a different landscape, a different island, and then you're going to populate all these things. Every card has a particular cost. They also have different colours on them. So when I pick the planting action, that's a terrible example. When I pick the watering action, which is the blue action, not only will I take the major blue action, all of my cards that have a blue strip on them will all activate top to bottom, left to right. So this is a game that's all about engine building. It's all about synergy. It's all about putting the right card in the right place, finding it, and it is a lot of adapting to what cards you pull out of the deck, because it's, like I said, it's a huge deck of cards, and you're only going to see a very small amount of it. And you've got to play, so you're going to plant cards, you're going to gain some soil, which you're going to use to buy cards, you're going to water cards, which allows you to put the little plant tokens on them, or you're going to grow cards. Some of your cards are going to be trees or bushes, and you're only going to need to grow to allow you to put little stacks to build a little tree that sits on top of your card. And at the end of the game, when somebody's filled their 4x4 grid, you tot up all the scores, and you're going to looking for cards that have an animal in the title, or a colour, or there's so many different varieties. Actually, I've forgotten. My brain's gone dead. Trees, mushrooms. There's so many different scoring varieties, and you just add up this great big point salad and find that everybody's got really, really close scores to fight, despite taking massively diverging strategies to get to that point. It is a game that's all about engine building. It's finding the synergy. It's adapting to the cards that you get and finding the best way, the quickest way to get all of those scoring conditions. And it is a fabulous, brain-tingling game that I love. And I spent a lot of money buying all the deluxe resources to make my version of the game even prettier. And I'm so glad that I finally got to use it after 3 months of it sat on the shelf.
I know what Andy's going to say now. So I think, Andy, you should let us know.
Well, Rory, unfortunately, you are absolutely wrong in almost every aspect. It is a dreadful game. It is a horrible experience, and I hated every second of it. It is just dog shit. It is horribly random. There was absolutely no control over it whatsoever. Through no fault of my own, I couldn't enter 2 of the 4 scored opportunities at the end of the game, no matter how much I tried. It was just awful. I hated it. I really, really tried to like it, but I just thought it was just awful in every aspect. Mostly because of the random nature of the cards, and there was no market, so you never knew what you were going to get. A lot of the cards I got were way too expensive for me to plant, so I spent most of my game acquiring soil, which, as you can imagine, was really exciting. I didn't have a huge amount of opportunity to compost stuff. I grew quite a lot. That was fun, quite pretty, but I just did not find that it was enjoyable in any way, shape or form. I much preferred Ark Nova. It was like a shit version of Ark Nova, I found.
Wow. Well, it tells me you really felt, Andy.
Seriously, I was really, really grumpy when I played that. I did not enjoy it at all.
Interesting. We played it last night, and I had a lot of the similar complaints to you in that I couldn't do any of the objectives. I wasn't pulling the cards at the objectives. And I didn't even come up with a decent strategy. I just kind of thought, right, I'll stick to this thing. I didn't manage to build an engine. I didn't manage to get any of the major objectives. And Adam was in front of me, basically scoring all things. You know, he's putting plants on and putting leaves on, and he's scoring all these objectives. And when it came to the end of the game, between 3 of us, there was 10 points between us. It was like, 190, 185, and 180. And I was last, but I was last by only a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's what I can see the appeal for it. You don't have to do those objectives, but you need to think of something else to do. Now, I'm kind of in the middle, not quite. I'm verging more on towards the Rory side than the Andy side here, but I'm not falling over myself to play it again like Rory is, and I definitely don't hate it. I think I'm kind of in the middle, and it doesn't help. The first time I played it with Amanda, and Amanda can pattern match and got all these ridiculous... Amanda scored all the objectives like on the 3rd round or something daft like that, because she just managed to draw the cards all quick. And I do agree with Rory, it's something you've got to adapt to. You can't just go in with a strategy. You've got to constantly pivot and decide what you're doing based on what cards are in your hand. And I think, thankfully, there's so many cards in that deck that you can usually do something... with them, just not always quite what you want to do at the beginning. I'd also say that once people know how to play this is a damn quick game for what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Because we played in an hour, a 3-player game.
And that included a bit of a bumble teach as well, because we haven't played this since, I think we played it with Amanda, April.
6 months ago, easily, yeah.
We played it ages ago, and I remember playing it, and absolutely, even though Amanda kicked our asses, I fell in love with this game immediately. I was like, it ticked a lot of boxes for me. Like you say it's a shit Ark Nova. And things, I love Ark Nova, and Ark Nova is I love that game. It's brilliant. And there's an obvious comparison to Terraforming Mars. And first time I played that, I was like, okay, I really like that. This is my type of game. I'm all over. I love that. I love finding synergies. I love being given, here's a hand of cards, do something with it, work it out, pivot, go. I love it.
Well, as an example, our scoring, for example, was the winner was 190, second was 186, third 151, and I got 116. So not the 10-point spread that you're talking about there. It was a miserable, miserable time. I think it could be greatly improved if there was a market, I have to admit. At least some kind of idea that you could pull some stuff. Because, I mean, two of the scoring opportunities in the game were you had to have cards with, the double action thing on. So you have like the double stripe at the bottom. So when you activate a card, it'll do one of two things. One of the scoring opportunities was get cards like that. I had one all game. One.
Yeah.
And then,
well, we had the same problem the other night in which we had one which was like play 4 events. I saw 2 events all game.
Yeah, I only saw 3.
One of them... One of them had a minus 9-point penalty anyway, so I wasn't going to play that because it wasn't worth it.
Net +1, yeah. And then another one was like plant 4 trees. I saw 2 trees all game. I'm like that's 50% of the scoring that I just didn't get access to through no fault of my own. And I was drawing 6 cards around. It was insane. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't plant stuff because all the cards I drew required too much soil. So basically just spend the game acquiring soil. That's exciting. It was just dull. I'm sorry, I did not enjoy this game. Apparently, according to the chat at the time, throughout the room, it has been quite a divisive game. It's either sort of one of these things where you either love it or you hate it. The community seems to be fairly torn on the subject.
Well, can I let you into a secret, Andy? Mr. Summers here first played this on Board Game Arena and hated it.
Yeah.
I did. Actually, my first experience of this game was awful. But that's Board Game Arena.
Changed, interestingly?
It's a bit like Marmite, though, and this does sound like a Marmite game based on the level of it, kind of emotion that is coming out of you three gentlemen.
I can certainly say it does not do well on toast, I'll put it that way. So what changed, Rory? Because I am in no hurry to buy this again, ever again. But...
So for me, the biggest thing about one of the interesting points of this game for me is being able to predict what other people are going to do, so that I can benefit from the sub action. So it's like as much as I hate Race to the Galaxy, it's that thing. If Steve's probably going to do the watering action, I'm not going to pick it because I'm going to get some benefit. I will pick the thing that's going to be benefiting me, knowing I'm going to get the stuff I want from Steve's action. And that's really hard to see and do in Board Game Arena because it's hard for me to look at Steve's screen, essentially. It's not as easy. Because there's so much going on, especially because I play a lot of Board Game Arena on my phone, to see 16 cards on my phone at once, and Steve's, and Adam's, and yours, and the scoring objectives, I can't navigate between them all very quickly and keep it all in my head. Whereas on the table, I can look over and go, Steve's probably going to do a grow action. And a grow action... I'll let Steve do that, so I'll do the watering, because when Steve does the grow action, I'll get the grow bonus, and then all these cards are going to trigger as well, so I'll be able to grow everything that I need for this round. That's the big difference for me between the two.
Fair enough. I mean, I will concede that towards the end of my game, things started to come together a little more. I wouldn't say they clicked necessarily, but I could do a bit more. But by the time that was happening, it was way too late for me to actually do anything useful. So, but even then, I was really struggling to get anything useful out of the game.
But I think
just because of what came out.
It is an engine builder as well. So if you struggle to get that, if you're struggling to get your engine off the ground, and by the pure look of the draw, my cards have got quite simple synergy and quite simple engine that's cheap for me to start. I'm starting with a massive leg up on you, and that's just really disheartening for you to go. It makes it hard for you then to enjoy it because Rory's done really well. just by sheer look, his cards were
And
better than mine.
I think that's the fundamental issue I have with the game. Through no fault of any player, positively or negatively, you can either do really well or really badly, and there's zero control over that. And if I've make a dumb decision, I can live with that and I can learn for next time. But through no fault of anybody's, there's a massive imbalance in that game that you can do nothing about. And that I really, really dislike.
It's the same thing with Ark Nova and with Terraforming Mars. I would argue
disagree.
Is that if I start with a really great hand in either of those games, I'm off to a great start.
No, I agree with Ark Nova because I've spent so many games of that being so frustrated that Rory seems to have all the best freaking animals, and I've got a gerbil and a lion, and I can't do anything with the buggers.
The goat. See, I disagree.
It's fine. It's fine in Ark Nova when you have a menagerie and the menagerie animals come up. The problem is when all you're getting is massive African game animals and you've got nowhere to put the big buggers because you've committed to this menagerie.
At least in Ark Nova, you've got the market, so there is some mitigation in there that you can aim towards something. Now, it's expensive and someone might snaffle it, but at least there's something to aim towards. With Earth, you've no idea what you're going to get.
Now, this is interesting because I think we've said this for a couple of games over the last couple of podcasts, is they've become a bit kind of like you get a shit start hand and by luck somebody's doing better and it becomes frustrating. So that's quite interesting that across all those different games, the opinion is not equal. Sometimes we like that, sometimes we don't
That's
like
a good point,
it.
actually.
And I've observed it between years. It's different. Like folk have enjoyed it and not enjoyed it. And I think part of that is it depends on that experience. If you're one of those people in that game that you play on that one time you've played through it, or the second 2 times you've played through it, you get the good hands landing, you're going to love it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But as soon as you get a crap hand, or just get mullered by the game at every turn, then it's going to frustrate you.
I'm going to come back to that in a few minutes, Sid.
We'll put a pin in that, Gaffer.
We'll put a pin in that.
Are we going to circle back to it, are we?
We're going to circle back, yeah. Run it up the flagpole.
Pluck some low-hanging fruit first, shall we, before we come back to this one?
On a slightly related note, I did actually buy the book Wankonomics, which goes through all of this terminology, and I can heartily recommend it. It's by a couple of Aussie guys who have clearly worked in business for a while, and it is just a joy to read. I strongly recommend that book because it has all of those phrases and more besides.
Right then. Anyway, that was Earth from Inside Up
Studios, yeah, and it was, or Inside Up Games, sorry, and that was we got this from Kienda a little while ago, and so this was, so if you're Team Rory and you'd like to, and you haven't tried Earth, you can go pick up a copy from Kienda. It's a great value game as well, I think. A lot of cards, a lot of fun to be had.
And if you're Team Andy, you'd be asking for a refund.
Well, if you're Team Andy, just buy Fate of the Fellowship from there and use our discount to get an even lower price.
That is a much better strategy, Mr. Tudor, yes.
Right, so I'm going to talk about a game with a similar issue here. At Expo, we picked a review copy of Classified Information, which is a 2-player deduction game. And I think this is a relatively straightforward game of which the rulebook and the rules video both make a balls up of explaining how the game works. Put that out there right now. It's a deck of 18 cards, numbered 1 to 9, and it's 2 of every card. Also, every card has a special ability on it, and also every card has a code number, and that code number is basically the number of that card and number either side, and 9 wraps around to 1. So if you've got card number 5, then your code is 456.
Right.
Every player is dealt randomly 1 card face down in front of them, which is their secret information, their dossier, their briefcase, what they're all trying to hack. And the aim of the game is to be left with a card in your hand with a number that matches one of the 3 numbers on that briefcase card that's face down your opponent's side. Which sounds relatively straightforward, but you've also got blockers you can put in place. So you can put guards in front. And if on the reveal at the end of the game, if any of the guards match the number of the cards you've got in your hand, so if any of the opponent's cards, they got blocked and they don't win. And so basically, if you've managed to hack the briefcase without a guard in place, you win. And then if there's any kind of tie, either both cards get blocked or neither gets the right thing, whoever has the most guards wins. It's really simple play. You quite literally draw a card. You start off with 2 in your hands. You'll have 3 in your hand. You'll play one of those cards, and you either play it for its effect, or you play it as a guard or an assassin, which you're going to try and use to destroy another guard. Where the game is interesting is you are trying to deduce what those 3 numbers are of that briefcase. And it even gives you a little wheel which you can cross with a sleeve and a dry erase marker, and you can cross these off. And a lot of the special abilities will do things like your opponent must say a number which is neither 3 nor the number on the briefcase. Or your opponent must say, you must pick a number, and your opponent must say whether it's within plus or minus 2 of the briefcase number. And so slowly, once you play these cards, you should be able to gain some information and hopefully have the card left at the end of the game which allows you to hack the briefcase. So basically you've got 3 chances because there's 3 numbers it can be, which are 3 numbers at the bottom. Now, I think this game suffers from the problem we've just discussed because it's completely random card draw. So what cards you get and what effects, of course, will be random each game, and it's just shuffled. So you don't get like all 9 cards yourself. You could end up with 2 of one card or never see a particular card. So it means that, like, if you're starting hand, you get some of the really good cards which divulge information. You can usually narrow it down pretty quick, whereas your opponent doesn't get those cards. They're like, well, what the frick do I do here? And I found the game is starting to grow on me.
Yeah.
At first, I thought, this is random. But the more I play, the more I look at it and go, well, if I play that card, that narrows down those 3 numbers. I can save this card back, and I've got a scavenger which can get a card out of the discard pile and save that for when I've worked out that number. Oh, I've got a guard now which matches one of the briefcase numbers, so I'll put a guard out. Oh, I think that's his assassin, and do that. But there is still a little look. I do feel the first time you play this, that look of the draw of the hand makes you feel like you have absolutely no control of the game. And I do think, like Earth, you have to adapt to what you've got. But with the advantage that this game takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it actually suggests you play several rounds. So therefore, really, if you get it wrong, shuffle the cards and play another game. And it just suggests play 3 out of 5. If you want a deeper experience, play like best out of 5 or best out of 3 or something like that.
Now you see that what you've just touched on is exactly why I think luck isn't bad sometimes, because it's what makes the game constantly evolving. And sometimes it's nice to be dealt a shit hand and then make something good of it. There's a buzz in that, and that's okay.
A few episodes back, we were talking about Gwent.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah,
it's exactly the same kind of thing. That you'll draw the hand. It's only a bad hand if if you're determined to win this round. But if you want to just carry on and get on with it, it's over and done with. We played a round, carry on.
Burn the hand, start again. And Gwent was exactly the one I was going to come back to, because that was the exact kind of feel I had with that. Is because you can, but this is where it's interesting. Is where Earth and stuff maybe is a bit more difficult, because you can't just restart a replay of an hour-long game, right? But in the 10-15 minute zone, that's bang on. That is just play it, blast it. If it's garbage, scrub that hand, start again.
But isn't that just basically fixing the deck? So you kind of
no, you're not fixing the deck. You're not fixing.
Of course you are. Not fixing the deck. But basically, you go not fixing the deck, but you're fixing the game in the sense that I've got a shit hand, I'll buy another one until I get a good one. You just keep redealing until I get a good hand. That's bullshit.
No, that's not what I said. You finish the hand. You finish the game, but because it's so fast, you don't get umbrage at it. You've learnt something. Even in a crap hand, you've learnt something. You've seen more cards come out. This is the Gwent argument again. Gwent, the more you play, the more you go through your hand, the more you learn about your monsters, the more you learn about the synergies between the monsters and if that vampire comes out, that means I get all these other vampires to rock up. The more, and you learn it fast, and that's what I think is good about these games, is you're not spending hours and hours and days and weeks doing it. Within the space of 2 hours, you can get that game, you can see all the cards just through playing them through the deck. That's what I'm getting at. It's not about fixing the deck. It's not like just...
It's not like mulligan after mulligan after
throw
mulligan.
That away, that's crap, throw that away. No, you play the hand all the way through. The 10 minutes of that game is what you do, and that's how you learn it. And I think there is something to be said about that.
Now, I'm with Steve on this one, having played classified information a few times. The first time I played this, stopping myself, a couple of episodes ago, we talked about Take the Throne. And I remember getting Take the Throne out and reading the rules and just going, is that it? Is that the game? And then we play it and we go, oh, classified information. Steve told me the rules, and I was like, is that it? And I played that first game, and by the end of it, I was like, I get it. And then we played that second game, and I was like, oh. And I do really want to go back and play this more. And we talked about this because it's just 18 cards and 2 dry erase markers. This is the type of thing that just goes in your pocket, and you pop down to the pub and you have a couple of pints and you go, should we just have a quick game? And you can get it out and you play it within 5 minutes. Whose round is it? Let's put winner buys, right? And you can play and you can do it that way. It's a very interesting game. I very quickly saw over a handful of games, two games. I saw all the cards, I saw all the actions, I saw all the abilities, and I started to see how they were all going to link together and all those strategies. And if I wanted this one, I need to do this. I need to do it in this order. I know exactly what card I'm going to play, regardless of what I pick up. There's a lot more depth to this game than there first appears. But even after your first experience of this game, there's still more to it. And it needs picking at, it needs poking. And that's where, as your point there, Sid, good experience, bad experience, win, lose or draw from those first games. It's so quick to just play it again. You just play it again and you'll know more about it.
I would add the dissenting voice, which was Adam, who played it with us, who hated this for exactly the same reasons that Andy hated Earth. He felt that his cards were absolutely useless and he couldn't get something going, and it was just random draw.
Yeah, but at least 10 minutes later, he didn't get that hand.
Yeah.
Which is my entire point about the speed of the game, or the time the game takes to play. That mechanic doesn't work when the game takes 2.5 hours. That's flip the table territory at that point, because you've lost all your agency. You don't get that kind of upset over after. And all right, okay, maybe in the 6th or 7th hand of absolute crap, you might get upset. But let's assume that the law of averages is still valid and physics still applies to this world, then we shouldn't be in that situation. And if you do end up in that situation, stop playing the lottery, because you're never going to win.
I would still maintain it shouldn't take 3 or 4 attempts of that game, though, to do that. And if it does, then that's just basically not very good.
Fair enough.
I would add another weird thing about this game. It's not so much overproduced, but superfluously produced, I think is the way to describe it. Because this game is 18 cards, 20 if you include the card which allows you to cross off numbers, which you can do with a notepad and pen. You don't need this, right? And the Kickstarter version, I think this game did get kickstarted, so it's the published version we're playing, comes with 2 extra decks. And actually, so you've actually got 3 decks you can choose. You've got 3 different sets of powers, and also explains a guide of how you can mix and match. So if you want to, you can mix this power from this deck with this and this deck. So it's 3 packs of 18 cards each, and it comes in the box the size of a shoebox.
What?
Yeah, this is
Is it Splendor Syndrome?
No.
No. Splendor was tightly packed compared to this box.
Oh, wow, really? Because you can fit the entirety of Splendor in basically a Swan Vestas box.
But it wasn't just that. There was lots of little resin briefcases which were just used to tally if you're playing like best of 3. There was little acrylic stands so you could put your little decoding wheel standing up, dry erase markers, and then there's a drawstring pouch. I've got no idea what the drawstring pouch is for. And then the box, I don't know whether they're intending to do expansions, but basically the box had like that card system in where it's got little sections you can put cards in. Imagine like a Dominion box used to have. Well, this thing could hold about 20 sets of cards, and 3 sets of cards come with it. So I have no idea I don't know whether they've just saved on packaging and bought a packaging design from a different game and just went, yeah, that'll work. But it's 95% air in that box, basically.
Because is that quick maths? That's 54 cards in total, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so just bigger than a normal. No, including the Jokers, that's a normal deck of cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which you can fit in a box about
In a deck of card box. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Even if you included the pens and the little standees, it should be in a much smaller thing. And ultimately, that's it. If we take it to the pub next time, I pop round to Steve's and we're going to go, let's take the dog for a walk and accidentally stop at the pub on the way home. If that game happened to be in your pocket, we go, right, who's going to pay for the first round? Then that's great, but that's it. That's how big it needs to be. It's just.
Yeah. Do you know what the other interesting thing? The extra decks, all 3 decks are not in a box. They're in this like cardboard that folds out a bit like an envelope. And it's actually got basic rules written inside it. So it's not a box as such. It's like a box that opens out completely like a sandwich card. You can get like a Tesco sandwich box and it opens out into a little plate if you need to. It's like that. But it's got a little magnet in it.
What?
Exactly. To keep it together, it's got a little tiny magnet. It's clipped shut. I'm just like, I like that, but that's completely superfluous. Just give us a tuck box, it'll be fine.
How much does all this superfluousness add on to the price of the of what feels like a 15 quid game?
The deluxe version, which is the one I'm talking about, is £30.
That seems ridiculous. Considering Leaders is 22. With an RRP of 25.
I mean,
it certainly feels a bit premium.
I think going back about 10 years ago, weren't like micro games quite popular for a little while? These games that were just 18 cards and could fit into a mint tin type of thing. This is that type of game.
The basic version, I found someone selling for 15 quid, which is one of the decks of cards, and 2 pens and a draw bag. So 15 quid, not bad really.
That's all right, actually, 15 quid.
Anyway, that was classified information. We also played another little box of cards, which also relies on complete randomness, which is a game called Prowl, Plans and Cunning.
Yeah, so Sid, you and I picked this game up from Revelation Games. So this was the
Bringing Essen to you, mate. I remember them.
To you, that was it. My clipboard buddy.
Yeah. He was the man.
Oh, was it this bloke? Right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So this was also the distributor for classified information.
So
that's where you can get it from for 15 quid at the moment from the Revelation Games website.
So if I remember, they're not actually into mainstream distribution. So if you do like the sound of any of these 2 games, that's where you've got to go. But Prowl, Plans and Cunning. What a cracking little game this turned out to be.
Because this is the one with the weird kind of seasons and things going on, isn't it?
We were sold this game being told that if you like dick moves, you will like this game. And this game is wall-to-wall dick moves. Start to finish. You're just being horrible to each other. But not in a really, really nasty take that kind of way. Just in a really clever way.
No, it's nasty.
It's nasty. Okay.
So if I wanted that, I'd just go to the pub with you 3. I don't need a game.
So this is like a hidden role game. So there are 4 seasons which represent 4 clans. And you'll have 4 tokens on the board which represent their hierarchy. Every card has a clan on it. You'll have one face down. It's actually quite similar to classified information in this regard, which is your secret clan. Okay? So basically you win if that clan ends up at the top at the end of the game. Every card, however, has a clan symbol on it and a special ability. And there's a huge deck of cards. Well, I say huge deck of cards. It's the largest deck of cards, and you won't see half the cards in most of the games. You'll play a card from your hand. That card will have the clan on it. That clan will raise up 1 on the ranking. And then you'll play the special ability. And the special abilities are the dick moves. These are things like force your opponent to reveal their clan cards, move your favourite clan up 2, some protect you from attacks, they're all kinds of different things.
And they're all unique, aren't they? There's no 2 cards with the same special ability.
No 2 cards with the same special ability. The other thing you can do is you can accuse, and you can play a card face down, so just discard a card and say, Rory's got the Winter Clan, and then if I'm right, then Rory has to change his clan on the following turn, and that's his action. He basically loses his action to change clans. It's like 5 cards, that's all I think you get. The game takes 10 to 15 minutes. It is absolute chaos. And it's joyful chaos at that. How you win at this game, I don't know. I don't think there's an actual strategy, but I don't care because I'm having too much fun at the same time.
I thought I knew how to win this, but then there was Ginger Tosser over there, just kept ruining my fun every time we played it.
Yeah, because he didn't know what was going on.
I think Rory's winter. Well, you Tudor, you're right again, you.
All you need to do in this kind of game with hidden stuff and to try and catch Steve in a lie, you just ask him 4 questions, and you will know straight away what he's got underneath.
Right, like Darren Brown, just like Steve, say the 4 seasons, and just wait for the witch. He says autumn and starts twitching.
Yeah, that's what happened. Honestly, he just starts like.
I found a fantastic strategy to get round this, which is put my season card down.
Don't look at it.
About it. So I don't even know which season I've got.
I mean, plausible deniability's worked for politicians for years, mate.
Yeah.
Worked a charm. No one could catch me out and get my tick.
But this we played this. This is the type of game for us that is like, that last game didn't take. We've still got like an hour or so, 45 minutes before it's reasonable to kind of like go home. Let's just get this out. It is one of those great end of night games. You can play it once or twice, 3 times, have a bit of a laugh, bit of fun. Like Steve said, is there a strategy to actually winning? You've got these 5 cards. How much can you actually do with those 5 cards to make one of those seasons get to the top of the hierarchy and stay there? But it's just good fun trying.
But the thing is, as you're doing this, your opponent's screwing up everything you're doing anyway. So it's like it's not impossible to have any kind of coherent plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is now luck based and a race that you can't influence really.
You can,
but you're being constantly twatted in the kneecaps every time you take a step forward.
Like last time we played, I had a great card. You have like every suit clan has a leader, and the leader wins if that season's at the bottom of the hierarchy. So I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Steve's Spring and Spring is at the top because my leader card will trump Steve's victory. Breaks and it's everything. So I spent the entire game trying to con everybody, thinking I was Spring, but really all I was doing was making sure Winter was at the bottom. And then in the penultimate turn of the game, Steve was like, I'm going to accuse Rory of being Winter. Then I had to change my winning card. Seconds away from winning, then Tudor comes along.
What was it? Rich had something like, it was like, you'd win if the person to your left wins, or something like that.
Oh, that was it.
He just made it.
That was it. He could take a guess at a suit that was going to win, and he would tuck it under this card. And if at the end of the game that won, whoever, doesn't matter who else won, he would win because he'd bet on them. He had like the gambler card, so his win would trump anybody else's win.
So, we talked about Take the Throne a few weeks back. We mentioned it earlier, which was it's careful strategy trying to work out what your opponent's doing. It's like that, but the chaos ramped up fully. If you don't like chaos and randomness, you're going to hate this game. But if you just want to be a complete dick for 10 minutes, and you don't, to be fair, don't care if you win or lose because it's too difficult, then it is joyous fun. And I thoroughly enjoyed this game.
Yeah, very glad we got recommended this because it's a type of game that's always going to stay in the car now. So that whenever we just like, I've got a bit of time, let's just play Prowl.
You're stuck at the traffic light. Game of Prowl.
Go on, kids.
Stuck on the M6. Yeah.
No.
Top motorway.
Hang on. Right. I don't know much about motorways, and I don't really want to get into this conversation, but the M6 is fucking horrible.
Yes, it is. I fully agree. Right. It's the worst road in the UK, I think, in my opinion.
The only one that's worse is the M25.
World's biggest car park, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. No more motorway talk.
Rory, you should really look up the YouTube channel called Auto Shenanigans. I think it's right up your street.
Auto Shenanigans. There's someone asked me what car I drove the other day, and I answered red. Right?
Mate, that's fine. Auto Shenanigans, he does an entire series on secrets of the motorways. And it's fascinating. It is absolute gold. Serious.
I don't know what's happened, but my YouTube algorithm has recommended me some BBC model railway episodes from the 1970s.
Has it got Fred Dibner in it?
No, it's got someone even better. I don't know what his name is, like Bill Smythe, Sebden Smith, or something like that. He's got the most fantastic handlebar moustache, and his delivery is so calm and relaxed. It's just like you're hypnotised.
It's brilliant.
He's talking about N-gauge railways, and you're like, how have I watched half an hour of this without realising?
Mine presented me Tomorrow's World doing the first car sat nav.
Mine did as well. Mine did.
When
I don't know why.
There was no memo.
My YouTube algorithm is made for SIDS. I'm so screwed.
At what age
You're in
did we
trouble.
start to find this shit fascinating?
For the record, I never found motorways fascinating.
Point taken, Rory. You're exempt from this.
He just hasn't caught up yet. He's a year behind us.
I'm the youngest of the Collider.
So how
crew.
old are you, Rory?
Not old enough to enjoy motorways.
Well, that's what
Yes,
I mean.
how old
That's
is.
the point. So that's answered my question. When did we start enjoying this, Rory? You've got less than 12 months, mate.
Well,
The clock is ticking.
we say that I'm the youngest member of the crew. There's only 6 weeks between me and Sid, so
Well, it's never going to change, is it?
No, it's
He's not
not.
like you're going to suddenly race past me. You're
you're the young one now. Bedlam.
I think we should move very swiftly on and draw a veil over this.
Yes, I think we should. Anyway, we've got a couple of minutes left. So let's round off a question from the mailbags. We've got a few here. So Luke starts off very nicely, actually. He says, one of my best gaming memories is sitting down at a table with 3 podcasters I'd started listening to but didn't know all too well at a small convention called City of Games to play a prototype of Nemesis. It seemed like a lovely game where we all tried to save the ship together. This, however, was a lie, and some ass called Steve decided to boot me off the ship into space on the penultimate turn. Guilty as charged.
Sounds like you, Gaffer.
Yep. I would love to hear what the lovely folks at PHC's best gaming memories are. Now, I've got an interesting one I can think of off the top of my head, which was the first game I think I played with Rory, which was at UK Games Expo, and we played Ragusa
Oh, yes.
with
with Fabio Lopiano himself.
and it's the first moment when we realised that Rory's brains were in his arse because to think he has to stand up and allow him to cool off. And every time he had to think a bit more, he stood up further and leaned further into the board.
Was that not Venice?
No, that was
It was
Ragusa.
Ragusa,
No,
okay.
the Ragusa was the following year where Rory couldn't work out the rules, and so we said he did a special Rory card because Rory was having so
There's
much
the
trouble
Rory
with it.
card, which they never
actually
called
made it
the
to the
Rory
final
card.
production.
Yeah, it did.
It's not called the Rory card though, but we know it as the
It's
Rory card.
the Doge card, isn't it? Yeah.
Something
from
like
Venice,
that.
yeah,
Basically,
it's the
you
Doge
basically
card.
you turn it over and you get 5 money and some special ability or something. But yes. But you gain 5 points if you don't use it at the end, something like that. Yes.
See, I think my favourite PHC memory, gaming memory, it's not a particularly funny story. It's just a really happy memory. We were playing at Sid's and we played Tabanusi. And it's going back a little while, but I remember it was a really nice early summer day, where it was really hot, and we were just sat outside on your decking in the sun, having a nice little drink and a nice bite to eat, playing a really nice game with friends, just having a great laugh. And it's just one that it's the only time I've ever played that game, but I have such fond memories of it because it was just bang on, that was.
That was a nice day, that. So mine's an RPG one. And there's 3 of us, 3 PHC in the crew, and it's our Coriolis playthrough. I don't think I have ever played an RPG before or since that broke my heart the way that game did. It was it was circumstance. Don't know what it was, but something in that game we were playing together just clicked beautifully for me, and it created genuine emotions. And I think it was one of the best RPG experiences I've ever had.
I remember two distinct moments in that campaign. Number one, when your character died doing the heroic emergency stop, and the point when you all realised, I think it was in the last session we played of it, what had actually happened in the story, and you all were suddenly, the look on all your faces was like, what? Oh crap.
You know, sometimes all the pieces, all the little things that you as a games master, the players, everybody's doing it just all slot together effortlessly. That playthrough that we had of Coriolis, the first and second book, was all of that. It was Hollywood movie shit. That was.
I know we didn't finish it together, but I have strong memories of playing Pandemic Legacy with Andy and John. That first few rounds when it was really tense, and because it was a legacy game, every success and failure you knew had effect on the next game. And and of course, calling the Colonel Brown Trousers because he was deep in shit.
We named him. Yes.
Another favourite memory. I remember doing a sleep. Make me sound like a child, or make us sound like children. Doing a sleepover at Stevens, and went over one afternoon, and we played Kingdom Death Monster all night until silly o'clock. Went to bed, woke up, took the dog for a walk, and was like, "Should we do some more Kingdom Death Monster?" Just having a Kingdom Death Monster of it must have been like a 12-hour binge of that game.
I think it was, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because it was when Amanda had gone on holiday with Sue, Sid.
Yeah.
So he'd come over for the day. We played it, and it was very much a case of we hadn't even finished eating breakfast. It was like, could play another round of Q&A.
Sid came over the following day, didn't he? Sid coming over, and we
played again.
We can probably get another game in before Sid gets here. He's at least an hour away.
Did we play when I arrived as well?
I don't think.
I thought we did.
I can't remember. But I think you played around.
I think I definitely had a round with you.
Yeah.
But you've got form for that, though. Of actually, another memory is literally getting lost in Sky Team and playing Sky Team so late at night at a sleepover, right?
Yeah.
That Rory forgot to phone the other half and then got a bollocking at 1 o'clock in the morning when we didn't know it was 1 o'clock in the morning for why hadn't he phoned her 2 hours ago.
That was so much fun. Such a toxic relationship, but
Oh, right then. I think we should draw this to a close, gents. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We have been Polyhedron Collider. Please give us a review on iTunes or your podcast platform of choice. And don't forget, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Board Game Geek Guild 2726, and our Discord server, which there is a link to at the bottom. Again, really chuffed with how well the Discord server is going. It's great fun. Also, don't forget to listen to Ramshackle, which is our off-topic podcast. We've just put one up about an interview with Dan Hughes, which I thought was really good, and it's the first Polyhedron Collider podcast that I haven't been on.
How was that for you? How was that just listening to an episode that you had no idea about when you were editing it?
It was actually really fun because it was so unique. I wasn't apprehensive of what I knew was coming up next when someone cocks up and just waiting for it to go wrong. Yeah. It went really well.
Actually, Discord, if you've got any people you think that would make a good guest on Polyhedron Collider Ramshackle, let us know on Discord who you'd like us to get on the show to be interviewed, because I think that's just offering ourselves up for craziness.
No stupid suggestions, of course.
Oh yeah, it's got to be achievable. It's got to be achievable. Yeah.
Yeah, but now that I'm rubbing shoulders with the great American YouTubers and podcasters,
should we try and get Becca Scott on? Shall we? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, Sydney, Becca Scott, any of them, mate. Chaosium, mate. I'm in now. I'm there, ready to go, mate. I'm their man.
Till next time, folks. Happy gaming.
Ta-ra.
Cheerio.
Bye bye.